My name is Kyle Renaro. My shop is Pro Shop Noble in Riverside, California. I've always wanted to build cool stuff. That's it. With the Pro Shop Noble YouTube channel, I want to give people an eyesight into my life and the business around it, but definitely want to show new crafts and new stuff and be able to teach people travels and meeting people, and then also behind the scenes and what it takes to keep a business going. Pro Shop Noble is about the details in any build. I've been working on cars myself for over 20 years. The shop is going to be going into its 10th year, I believe. Started in Santa Ana in a 700 square foot shop. Was lucky to have an opportunity to move a little bit bigger shop and just kept working. At that point, I was doing mostly mechanical and fiberglass repairs. Always been involved with a bunch of different communities. People would see what I did for my own stuff or whatever. I would learn something because I either got taken advantage of at some other shop or like realized like there was no one stateside doing stuff like this. And so other people, would talk to me about it. And that's kind of like once I had that little 700 square foot shop, I started taking on some side jobs. Remember at the time, a lot of body shops had started not repairing fiberglass. So I was doing a bunch of fiberglass repairs. That was the big part of how the shop started. I remember doing repairs for like a second gen Aristo to S2000 to S chassis and FDs and FCs. Cars that either had track duties or very rare aero or parts that were not replaceable, or they wanted to change something on the car. And then, people would bring those parts and they go, well, hey, do you know someone that did this or do that? I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that, or I could do this. And about a year into having that 700 square foot shop, the first time I took on to building a whole car for a customer, keeping the business going, keeping people happy, and is such an accomplishment. There's usually crazy stories behind these cars. That's when I started my business. It was like 90% damage control. It was taking cars that literally just came out of other shops, and the customers were not happy or didn't get their car finished or having to redo everything that the other shop did. That was the beginning, and just taking absolutely terrible jobs. But I just took anything I could to make sure I could make enough money to pay rent and keep going to the next month. I have a Miata I've been tinkering on. I've really been getting the itch to do a chassis I haven't done before. I like pushing myself and learning new chassis and new stuff. These are my personal cars behind me. The green car, the S13, I've had for 18-ish years, and I think the S14 I've had for like 15 years. The green car spent many of those years just sitting, just tinkering, changing how it looked, pursuing that desired look, just learning. Doing things, doing it the wrong way, doing it to a point of just either satisfactory or good enough, and learning to be okay with that, not perfect. And I struggled, had a very specific way I wanted the car to look, didn't know how to execute that. And the car spent, 4 or 5 years on jack stands, and I really struggled. I struggled with the car and other aspects of my life because of the car, which sounds crazy, but it does affect you, especially something that it means that much to you. I had to teach myself lots of different skill sets in my own way, picking up books at libraries. I bought books to learn how to do fiberglass work and to do it correctly. That's really how I taught myself, was with books. And I'm a terrible reader, but getting into these cars, there was a lot of aspects of things that like how to stretch tires, setting up suspension, and all this stuff that was probably more abundant in Japan at the time. I would spend hours looking at Minkara blogs, with pictures like this big of little, cell phone pictures guys took, and then blogging about it in Japanese and then translating it, or hoping to learn something from it. This week I'll be taking a trip to Japan. So the plans for this trip to Japan, I fly in on the 6th to Haneda, and then from Haneda I'm meeting up with my wife. She'll be there visiting family, and then we're gonna go to Shizuoka for the Tamiya Model Factory tour. It's something I've always wanted to do since I was, this tall. Like 80% of all the plastic models around the world come out of Shizuoka. Like the whole hobby industry is there. So I idolized all the Tamiya RC cars growing up, and everything came from there. So in my mind, like, I was always obsessed to eventually one day go see where all these cars are built and designed, and people that I idolized or looked up to had been to, place that they had been to. Guys like, David John, or not with Tamiya, but Masami Hirosaka, and then watching VHS tapes of like races that used to come from there. They have a racetrack there and stuff. It's special to me. So being able to go to the Tamiya factory tour is like a big highlight to me. Yeah, it should be awesome. I'll talk about it some more too when I'm going to the venue for people that are like interested in doing it, like what's involved going there. From Shizuoka, we're going to go to Osaka. From Osaka, we're going to spend some time before the venue there. Then we're going to go to Kyoto. My wife wants to get some stamps done. She likes collecting stamps. Go back to Osaka, enjoy the show. This trip is mainly to go to Osaka Auto Messe. It's an event I've always wanted to go to. From what I understand, it's more smaller shops, people that build their own cars. Seeing other people's builds and that energy, just being around that, is usually always good for myself. Because you see the way certain people build things and you see into their mindset and their headspace sometimes with what they were doing and the process they did with it. And that's might be different than what you've been doing. Seeing other people's work helps with that, in my experience. And if you're lucky enough to meet the people that do it and hear their stories, and that's what really interests me about this event. I just want to soak it in, so I'm just going to go in with an open mind. I'd love to go out into the countryside and see more of people that are building this stuff. At Osaka Auto Messe, we'll be lucky to see cars like that come from the countryside, and see other people that are just that are involved with putting their energy into cars and moving forward. I feel like things have gotten a little stagnant, and going to Japan, I feel like it's a lot more progressive. Then we're gonna go from the show in Osaka to Tokyo to Chiba and see some of our family there, and then go back into Tokyo to Akihabara. Maybe go out to more of the outside skirts of Tokyo and do a little like thrift shopping. And there's a shop that I'm looking at visiting while I'm there that does older car accessories and truck accessories. From that, basically come back, might visit a few hobby shops on the way back to Chiba. And then from Chiba, that'll be the end of the trip. All right, well, that wraps it up. Thanks guys for taking time to watch this video, and I look forward to providing more interesting content. If you guys have anything you want to add or like to see, please comment and add it below. And once again, thank you so much. This is Pro Shop Noble, and I'll see you later.